that song there, and I think it speaks so much on what this business is too.
Yeah.
You know, there's a line in the song that says, I've been trying to find a sound.
Yeah.
You know, between a fender and a fiddle.
A fender and a fiddle is the best. It's the best line of the song.
Just trying to find the middle, man. It talks about everyday life, you know, on the front. It's like, man, we got so much stuff we worrying about every day. There's so much stuff. You don't ever know what somebody's going through. Politics, all of that stuff, man. Regardless of what side you're on, it's a mess. Like, I mean, you know, I'm just like, can we find somewhere to meet in the middle?
Sure. All right, everybody, welcome again to the Studio 101 podcast. Today on the podcast, we have singer, songwriter, performer, artist, Mr. Clay Page.
How y'all doing this afternoon?
Good to see you, man. Thank you for coming.
I'm honored to be here.
Well, we appreciate you coming in, man, and hanging with us today.
Yes,
and, sir. Clay's a Georgia boy.
That's
not
right.
too far down the road. Tell us a little bit about yourself, kind of where you're from and how you got into music.
Elberton, Georgia is the hometown, Granite City, capital of the world. I grew up on Lake Russell, and this has always been extremely dear to my heart. I love to get out and travel and see places, but home, you know, will always be home.
Right. I hear you. I hear you, man.
Yes, sir.
So, you know, we were talking a little bit earlier. Man, you've been in the music, songwriting, performing world for probably 12 or 15 years now. You know?
It's 12 to 15 years. I started playing when I was 14. I started playing guitar when I was 9, and then I started singing at a later age, which, you know, around 14, I played my first live show, and the fire was lit, man. We played the town-wide yard sale in South Carolina, actually. Calhoun Falls, South Carolina, which is right across
the line.
Across the river, man. I tell people I'm a hybrid, like, I spend as much time in Carolina as I do Georgia because I'm so close to the line, you know? And a lot of my family's in Carolina. My grandmother, she lived right down the road in Powdersville, South Carolina, from here, you know.
Not too far from here.
Right. A lot of the guys in my band's from Carolina, so, you know, Georgia, Carolina, man, this region right here has always been extremely dear to my heart. And, you know, that's one thing I'll say, all the traveling that we get to do, man, like, I love getting out seeing stuff, but this area right here, like, I feel like we take for granted.
Oh, yeah.
I'd say from Athens, Georgia on up to Greenville, South Carolina, like, it's God's country, man.
Sure, man. It's you know, people who are watching this podcast will have heard me say for about the 10th time, like, I wholeheartedly believe we kind of live in a little hidden gem kind of a bubble in this area, and to me it has a lot to do with, you know, natural resources stuff we have available, which is amazing, the lakes and all the mountains and everything we have here. But as far as the music side of things, man, there's some crazy, amazing musicians and singers and songwriters that call this little area home and contribute in a huge way to the music industry every day. You know?
That's right.
And you know, you're included in that list, man. You're a part of this whole community.
I'm honored to be a part of it, man. And I need to step back for a minute. We was talking about this being a hidden gem. This area is no good. Y'all quit moving here.
Yeah. The word is getting out, and I can say the word is out.
Yeah,
it's definitely out right now. So,
but it is, man. It's a special spot, and I feel like, you know, just the scenery, man, and the feeling of home. Like I feel like that's one reason too. Like that, I feel like that reflects in my music. You know, the way that I was brought up. I feel like everything about home, man, I just always have tried to showcase that throughout my songwriting and you know, what the brand's about. So
When did you first, like, really dig into the songwriting part of this thing?
So I wrote my first song when I was in high school, and like when I first started playing music, like I feel like a grandpa saying this, I guess, but like, you know, CDs were still cool and YouTube was just like hitting the scene.
Yeah.
And it was like, man, you mean to tell me I can go out here with my mom's huge Kodak camera and film a video and put it on the internet and, like, people can see
everybody's
it, like,
gonna watch it.
Yeah, like, so that's what I done, man, in high school. Like, I was playing a bunch of cover music and stuff. And, you know, I'm sitting here saying high school, it may have been middle school. even. So I was uploading videos to YouTube and all of that stuff, man. And I was like, you know what? I'm playing all these other songs of everybody else's. I'm like, why don't I write a song?
Yeah.
And a lot of people watching this may remember the Pure Country.
Oh, yeah,
was the first song that I ever wrote and put on YouTube, you know, and people at school, man, it was one of those things, like, had a bunch of people that liked it and then had a bunch of people, you know, that threw shade at it, had some haters, you know.
Yeah, for sure.
But I'm one of those type guys, man, you know, that, or I was one of those kids, like, you know, if I just use that for fuel, you know,
sure,
to keep going and keep doing what I was doing, man. And I've been extremely blessed to do some of the things that I've done. And you know, I was talking about this on one of my fishing videos the other week. You know, the past few years, man, like I'm learning the difference between, if somebody were to ask me where I'm at right now, musically and everything, like I'm learning the difference between being complacent and being comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, I think that being complacent is not really a good spot to be, but being comfortable and understanding like how blessed everybody, you know, understanding how blessed we truly are.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? To live the life that we do, man.
Sure.
So that's been something I've been, you know, really reflecting on the past few years, man. And like I said, God is good, man. I've been extremely blessed to do some things that I've done. And
yeah.
But, you know, I think it's human nature to always want to do more. And I
Sure.
feel like if you've got any ambition to want to do something, it's like, you know, just always want to do more, man.
For sure.
But it's at some point, it's like, man, you have to define your own success.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to be able to recognize. I think that's one of the biggest things, like for me, is being able to recognize becoming complacent and being comfortable.
Yeah.
You know?
I got you.
So.
And, you know, throughout your career over the past 12 years or so, you know, that involved like trying out for American Idol. You did the American Idol thing, and like from your perspective, like I kind of love your perspective on the American Idol thing. You know, some of those shows get a lot of hate. Some of those shows get a lot of praise. Some of them get a lot of hate. But I kind of love your perspective too. I don't know if you want to speak into that for somebody that might be watching.
Yeah.
About like kind of your philosophy on being a part of that show and taking a shot to be a part of it. I don't know if you want to speak into that.
For sure, man. I was in Nashville. I lived in Nashville for a while, doing the songwriter thing and playing a bunch of the writer rounds and stuff. And they were in the audience one night, and I had no idea they were there. So fast forward, they invited me to a private audition in Atlanta, Georgia, and I was sort of skeptical to even audition because, like, I've always been one of these guys, like, you get out here and pay your dues, hit the road, get a band together, like, you know, pay your dues.
Yeah.
And so they emailed me and invited me to this audition. I was like, I don't know, man. Like, I don't know. And so I was talking to a few of my songwriter buddies, you know, and one of the guys told me, he's like, man, you take the promotion any way you can get it.
Sure.
Like, and so honestly, Brad, I went into the whole thing with no expectation of what it was going to be, what it wasn't, what it was not going to be.
Yeah.
Like, I just, you know, we got to talking about that earlier. I'm sitting around here looking like, what am I doing here? Like, this is crazy, man. You know, like I showed up to my audition with pink eye.
Oh my
like
gosh.
in Atlanta, and I was like, I want to let y'all know, like, I hadn't been doing anything illegal. I haven't been crying. Like, I've got pink eye, and they was like, don't touch anything. You know. So I played them my few songs, and they were like, what do you think about Luke Bryan, Katy Perry, and Lionel Richie? I was like, man, they're awesome, you know. And they was like, good, you're going to the next round. And I'm like, dude, what? And so fast forward, man, I made it all the way out to Hawaii, which was a top 40 in 2019, and 2020 was shaping up to be a great year, man.
Yeah.
And we all know how the rest of 2020 went, but
for sure,
you know, man, it's one of those things. Again, everything happens for a reason. Like, and I would not take anything for the experience, you know. And people ask, is the show real? You know, absolutely, the show's real. I mean, the talent you see on, there's no, you know, the talent is real on the show.
Yeah, for sure.
So.
Yeah, and I love kind of what you said when we were kind of talking through some of this, and the fact that, like, you know, those shows have they have a lot to do with the way that you sort of use the promotion side of it, or whether they get to use you That's the promotion. So the biggest
that's a cool spin on it too, man.
Yeah, the biggest thing is like, can you find a balance on the deal?
That's a very cool take on it.
Yeah, and like I think that I don't necessarily like the fast track side of some of that sometimes for the artist. Sometimes stuff happens too fast.
Yeah.
Sometimes it works fantastic. I mean, Carrie Underwood and Kelly Clarkson are still staples in every home in America. So to me, being associated with several artists who've been part of those shows, there's some things that you can take away from different experiences, positive stuff, negative stuff, all the things, but it kind of depends on how you spin it and how you use it for yourself being a part of those shows, man. So
I watched a thing with Rick Barker, who was Taylor Swift's, I think, former manager. He was talking about those shows, man. And, through that time, I was really doing my homework. Like, I was trying to prepare myself because I was trying to prepare myself just in case one of my auditions aired on national television. I was like, man, this is one of the biggest opportunities, one of the biggest promotional things I've had,
Sure.
And so I was just trying to prepare myself, like reading, watching podcasts and stuff, all this stuff, man. And I found a lot of insight through Rick Barker, and just a lot of different information online. And, I will say this, as much as I studied and done my homework, like, I don't think there's ever any way for somebody to be prepared for, like, how, I guess that's just life in general. Yeah. But, like, the magnitude of it when it hit, it's like, man, I always look back and like, I wish I would have done this way or done that a little bit differently, so. But it was definitely a blessing. It come at a time that I really needed some, I guess, validation that I was doing the right thing.
Yeah.
And, speaking on home and family and everything, during that time, my uncle wasn't doing good. I just lost my granddad. And, like, so, and I'm in Nashville, writing music, doing this back and forth from home, like, picking up shows, picking up gigs where I can, just trying to make ends meet, dude. And it was just it was a blessing, and it come at a time that I really needed some validation. And I was like, I'm moving in the right direction. Just keep the hammer down,
Gotcha. For real. Yeah, man, I can appreciate that for sure.
Yes.
You've been here today, kind of recording some video.
Man, I've had a great time here.
Yeah, it's been a blast, man. Been a blast.
Fun. Like I said, I'm extremely honored to be here, and this place is beautiful, man. If y'all hadn't been out in the studio 101, like, I don't know what you're waiting on. I mean, really.
I appreciate that so much, man.
Yeah.
We get the opportunity, week in and week out to work with, awesome artists such as yourself and artists all over the place. And, today was one of the days where we doing some video recording of
can't wait to see
originals. Yeah. And, so today you played a song for us called "The Middle."
That's right.
And I always love to, when I'm in this setting, I'm able to ask the writer, like, okay, so what was your thought behind that song? Where did that song come from? Is it a specific idea thing that came from? Tell us a little bit about that song.
So I had, as I told you, I was living in Nashville, where I come back home, then went back to Nashville. Mm-hmm. I don't know, it's so crazy how fast time flies, but I think it was like a year ago now, or 2 years ago at this point.
Right.
So I was actually writing with a buddy. I had a write scheduled with my buddy Baker Grissom, and Baker and I, we sort of come from the same world. He's an Arkansas boy, and so I don't know, the more you write with people and the more you co-write, like, you just find people that you mesh with.
Right.
And Baker and I just have that mesh, man. It's like we come from the same world, and just a super cool dude. And so I had a little melody I was strumming on, and I think I had the hook, like the middle, or maybe Baker had the hook or something. I don't know. And we kept noodling with it, man. And Baker, I shared the idea with him, man, and he grabbed the bull by the horns, and we do what we do,
Right.
And so it was really cool, man. I actually brought it home and worked it out and stuff, and had if you listen to the track, there's some really good slide on it, and that's one of my biggest musical mentors, my buddy Jeff Ledbetter. He's playing on the track, so that song's special, man. And a few weeks ago, my youth pastor at church, he texted me. He's like, man, I heard your new song. He's like, I'm actually doing a sermon on it. I was like, my gosh, man.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I didn't know what to say, you know. I was like, dude, I was like, I can't believe that you know, that was an extremely high compliment to me for that to be brought up at church, you know, and stuff like that. But he preached, his sermon was preaching on the middle. And I feel like that's where a lot of people are at right now, man, just trying to find the middle. And, you know, obviously keeping God first, but trying to find the middle. It's like, man, sometimes we got to agree to disagree in certain areas, you know. But that song there, and I think it speaks so much on what this business is too. Yeah. You know, there's a line in the song that says, I've been trying to find a sound. Yeah. You know, between a fender and a fiddle.
A fender and a fiddle is the best. It's the best line of the song.
Just trying to find the middle, man. It talks about everyday life, you know, on the front. It's like, man, we got so much stuff we worrying about every day. There's so much stuff. You don't ever know what somebody's going through. Yeah. We worry about so much day in and day out. And, you know, politics, all of that stuff, man, regardless of what side you're on, it's a mess. Like, I mean, you know, I'm just like, can we find somewhere to meet in the middle?
Sure.
Dollar bills, worry pills, all that we're running on. The more you get, the more you need, the more you got, the more you want. Ain't it funny how this third rock from the sun spins? It can do you good or it can do you in. Everything that comes up must come down. Is your head in the clouds or your feet on the ground? Have you gambled too much? Have you risked too little? Find in the middle. Yeah, trying to find the middle. There's red and there's blue and the stars and the stripes, and there's green grass promises on either side. There's just one agenda up on Capitol Hill. We overdrafting our accounts while they draft a new bill. Everything that comes up must come down. Is your head in the clouds or your feet on the ground? Have you gambled too much? Have you risked too little? Find in the middle. Yeah, trying to find the middle. Ooh. I've been trying to write a song for the radio. Little Hank, little twang, little rock and roll. Searching for a sound between a fender and a fiddle. Finding the middle. Yeah, trying to find the middle. 'Cause everything that comes up must come down. Is your head in the clouds or your feet on the ground? Have you gambled too much? Have you risked too little? Find in the middle. Yeah, trying to find the middle. Ooh. Finding the middle. Yeah, trying to find the middle.
Man, as we wrap up, I always ask artists this one question, okay? What's on your playlist? Who are you listening to? What's on your playlist?
Oh, man. So, dude, I have actually been in a Little Feat.
Okay.
A Little Feat world right now.
Nice.
And it's the craziest thing. Like, I built a playlist. I have songs, man. It's not really just artists but like certain songs. I mean, like, if I think about what I played on the way over, it's like Little Feat, the Sam Hunt, Water Under the Bridge. Like, I guess just funky stuff, man.
Yeah.
Like something with some soul in it.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah.
I'm trying to think who else. Honestly, I think the Shabuzi song is on the spin. Who else? I've got my gym playlist. I probably don't need to mention my gym playlist.
Oh yeah, that's your pump up playlist.
I probably don't need to mention some of those songs, but yeah, I listen to it all, man. I mean, really, I do. I'm trying to think. Little Feat, I'd have to say, is one of the biggest ones right now. Adam Hood. Adam Hood.
Okay.
Oh my gosh, man. Like, I go through stages.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, when I first started playing music, I went through a Skinner stage. I went through a Johnny Cash stage, a Hank Sr., like, then I went through a Lucas Nelson and Allman Brothers and all of that stuff, you know. So,
yeah.
But Little Feat's been big on the playlist, and I went through Adam Hood stage. Man.
Nice.
When I was in Nashville, you know, writing a lot, this and that, I had a publisher who was scheduling some writes for me and stuff, and she asked me one time, she's like, she said, have you ever heard of Adam Hood? And I'd heard the name, but I'd never really listened to any of the music.
Right.
And not like directly meaning not to listen to it. It's just one of them things, like when you're in the business, man, you're just always on the grind. You know what I'm saying? And
yeah.
You're always writing, you're always playing, you're always doing something music related. So it's like, sometimes it's hard to sit down and appreciate art if you're always in it. And like, so for me, that's something I'll say over the past year, like I've been able to dive into. I haven't been writing a whole heck of a lot this past year, but I've had music stockpiled. So like, but through that, it's allowed me to kind of dive into different lanes and dive into different music and just like get into that thing of listening to music again.
Sure.
You know? And Adam Hood, man, I have to say is one of the most underrated artists right now.
Right.
I feel like he's a living legend, man. And I always find that, and Little Feat's another example too, man.
Sure.
Like, that was one of the, I'm like, how is this not mainstream?
I know.
Like, and the Adam Hood stuff, and you know, it's always crazy to me. The stuff that I think should be mainstream is like not mainstream, but it takes a good bit to inspire me.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah.
Honestly, whether that be music or lyrically or, you know, whatever it is. But I've been Adam Hood, man. Like I said, I've dug on that in Little Feat the past few months.
Nice.
So, yeah. If you haven't listened to any Adam Hood, I highly suggest you do.
Well, awesome. It's great. It's always great to hear perspectives of what artists as an artist and a singer songwriter, you know, kind of, it's always cool to hear what you're listening to as opposed to you creating the song, you know, so I love it. But man,
yes, sir.
We're going to wrap up and, once again, super pumped to have you here, man. Thanks for coming up, dude, and hanging out with us.
I appreciate you bringing me into this beautiful place, man. Seriously. My gosh, y'all have done a great job with it.
Well, thank you so much, man.
I'm excited to get back over here soon.
Yes, sir, bud. Well, once again, this is Mr. Clay Page, and this is another episode of the Studio 101 podcast. We're going to sign off, and we'll see you guys next time.
Y'all take care.